Now, United are close to agreeing their first transfer of the summer, with talks for Atalanta midfielder Ederson into their final stages. Sources expect the fee to be broken down into a £35 million guaranteed payment, plus £3 million in add-ons. A full agreement for the Brazilian could be reached by the end of the week.
Well, Manchester United are close to agreeing their first transfer this summer, with talks for Atalanta midfielder Ederson in their final stages. Sources expect the fee to be broken down into a £35 million guaranteed payment plus £3 million in add-ons. A full agreement for the Brazilian could be reached by the end of the week. Here's how Ederson compares to the man he'll be replacing in Manchester United's midfield. Last season, Casemiro scored more, created more goals and chances. Great threat from set pieces, wasn't he? However, Ederson did have a better passing accuracy and dual success.
A Gordon transfer to Barcelona could really affect Marcus Rashford's future as well, couldn't it? The Manchester United forward has expressed his desire to stay at the new camp, but Barca are reluctant to meet his £26 million asking price. So this is how Gordon and Rashford compare in the league and Champions League this season. Gordon has 16 goals to Rashford's 13, but Rashford created 10 goals compared to just 4 for Gordon.
Now, Manchester United's latest financial results have revealed that sacking Ruben Amorim cost around £16.7 million. Amorim was dismissed in January after 14 months in charge. He still had a year and a half remaining on his contract, and the decision to let him go accounted for almost £17 million. Well, for more on United's results, pleased to say we're joined live by football finance expert Kieran Maguire. Kieran, good evening to you. Thanks for your time. What are your main takeaway from the United results?
I think the Manchester United board will be delighted with these results. Revenues up, despite that they weren't in Europe compared to the previous season. They weren't competing in the cup competitions. But even so, even with fewer matches at home, they've managed to maintain broadly the match day income. That's down to ticket price increases. They've done substantially better as far as the Premier League TV deal is concerned, because each position is worth around about £3 million. So that's 12 positions better than the previous season. And merchandising has been okay. I mean, they lost their training shirt deal, but I think they're hopeful of replacing that, and by all accounts, it's going to be very lucrative next year.
A lot of bad PR about the job cuts, the changes there. Do you see justification, though, for those restrictions in the books?
Well, it's an interesting one. That they did make reference to it. It could be argued that the money saved from making 400 people redundant is broadly equivalent to the wages they will have saved by putting Marcus Rashford out on loan to Barcelona. Some other players went out on loan. They'll also have another substantial reduction in their wage bill with Casemiro leaving in the summer. And that's very good for recruitment in the summer, because it's freeing up space on the wage bill. Because they're in Europe, they'll be guaranteed substantial amounts of money. There'll be at least 4, of course, sold-out matches at Old Trafford, plus realistically another 30 to 40 million pounds from competing in the competition. So that will make Manchester United fans very excited over the summer.
Yeah, room for optimism. Just on that, do you believe they will then focus on reinvestment in the squad? They've got a bit of clearance now.
Well, they've got the scope to do so. The loans are the same as last year, but it's notable that the overdraft was reduced by £30 million. Again, that's freeing up cash. So they've got flexibility, and that's what managers are hoping for. The nature of football trading is that you've got to use the exit door as well as the people coming through. But it's the arrivals, of course, which excite fans. And yes, they've certainly got the scope to spend money. Yeah, this is Manchester United. They've got the third most expensive squad in the Premier League, and there's no reason why they can't add to that.
Yes, finishing third was about right then in that context. What effect have the results had on the club's value, Kieran?
Well, the stock market has loved the results. The share price is up over 12%. So that's added around about $450 million to the value of the club in just a few hours. So clearly it's exceeded the market expectations. They will be looking for the club to continue with this. I think the strategy that the club employed last season, which was spending a lot of money on players, but keeping them on relatively low wages compared to some of the players that were leaving, that will please the markets as well, because that will drive profitability.
Seems a lot of reason for optimism. Kieran Maguire, thank you very much for your time this evening.
Thank you.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Fabrizio Romano here, as always, to keep you posted on the transfer market. And today, guys, several things to say. Ciao Fra, how are you?
Ciao Fabri, busy morning and busy afternoon as well.
Yes, we will be here during the whole summer to keep you posted on the market, to answer your questions, to give you the breaking news. And so we are ready to start from breaking news because the big story in the last 24 hours has been about Anthony Gordon. I told you last night how the deal was entering into important stages. I told you this morning how Barcelona started the attack, and now we are ready to start discussing about one of the main transfers of the summer transfer window already.
Yeah, so let's start with that because there was the news of the night yesterday, it was the news of the morning, and then we had updates in the afternoon. So what's the latest on Gordon?
Yeah, what I can tell you now is that while we are recording this video, it's 7 p.m. in Italy. Anthony Gordon is, I would say, 95% a Barcelona player. Because the agreement between Anthony Gordon and Barcelona is done on personal terms. Anthony Gordon wants to go to Barcelona. I already said that in the last video, but now, every single detail of the contract has been sorted, has been agreed, and so Anthony Gordon is ready to say yes. Also, the deal is going to be fast. So it's not a story for the next weeks or months. It's something that Barcelona want to close now. Barcelona want Anthony Gordon to travel already, if they can, this week, for medical tests and contract signing. So why Barca are in a rush? Because they want to anticipate potential hijack attempts by Premier League clubs by Bayern. Because these clubs, Bayern and Premier League clubs, have called during the last 24 hours to understand what was happening with Barcelona, if they still had the chance to enter in the conversation. Now Barca want to be fast, want to close the deal. It also depends on Newcastle. My understanding is that the fee can go over 80 million euros, bonuses included. So the fixed fee is going to be under 80 million euros. My understanding is around 70 million euros plus add-ons to go over 80 as a total package.
So let's speak about what are the consequences of this potential deal, because we always speak about, managers domino, strikers domino. We might say here is a wingers domino, because what kind of consequences it might have to other players like Diomande or Barcola?
There will be wingers domino, yes, because we said that it's going to be an important summer for midfielders and for wingers. And now for wingers, obviously, with Anthony Gordon going to Barcelona, it means that there will be obviously movements from other clubs on different players. Bayern are in the market for a winger. Let's see what they do. Manchester City. Keep an eye on Manchester City, because if Savinho goes to Tottenham, Manchester City could go for a new winger. My understanding is that Manchester City are exploring the possibility to go for a new winger. Then there is, don't forget, Liverpool. Liverpool want to go for Yan Diomande, but they are in a battle with Paris Saint-Germain. And now I can't exclude that more clubs join this race for Yan Diomande, also because the interest of these clubs is really concrete. But don't forget that Leipzig still want to offer him a new contract, include a release clause, and eventually sell him in 2027. So it's going to be a very open race around Europe for wingers. And don't forget also Arsenal. So imagine Bayern, City, Arsenal, Liverpool, at least these clubs in the mix for wingers, and then Tottenham with Savinho.
You didn't mention Manchester United, but they are also in the race and getting closer to their first signing.
Yeah, they're getting really, really closer now, and the first signing could be Ederson from Atalanta, a story we've been mentioning here on the channel for some time now, for a few weeks, because Man United, basically what they did is been to fly to Italy with the delegation to start conversations on several topics. Don't forget that, for example, the agents of Tonali are in Italy, and there are more things they can discuss, for example, exits for the summer transfer window. So Man United had several meetings. We know they are always very active on the Italian market. Remember Højlund, remember Zirze, remember Dorgu, and many other players. Now, in this case, for Ederson. So the agreement, Manchester United, Ederson, is done. The player said yes to Man United. The contract is ready. It's a 5-year deal. Ederson wants to go to United. As I said last week, another club, which is not Atletico Madrid, called over the recent days, but Ederson said, wait, until there is Man United, I'm going nowhere. I wait for United. Now, United are close to completing the agreement with Atalanta for 45 million euros. Payment terms are being discussed, installments and all the rest. But Ederson is very, very, very close to becoming a new Manchester United player. What's needed is Man United final approval. Man United have been working on this deal for weeks, but now it's Man United, among several targets they have in midfield, who have to say, okay, let's proceed, let's close the deal. They have advanced for sure verbally. Now it's on United to put the final touch and close this deal for Ederson. But for sure, he's very close.